Okay, let's see where we left off here. I'm gonna crack open Houdini to mess with some objects, see if I can warp them out. Then let's open up the scene, jam. There might have been changes here. Let's see. Notes, base message to deform. Wait, did I see the HUD? Look at ourselves HUD. Oh yeah, the HUD. I gotta check that out. Okay, so still figuring out switch controls doing. Light stuff, HUD. Okay, cool. Yeah, so mostly the HUD. So we'll let that load, and then deformed objects. Is that what you are? Okay, yeah, so there's the glasses. Warp stuff. Okay, so let's load in something. Deform me. Okay, so let's just pull any of these in. Let's pull a guitar in. That's pretty distinct. Alright, cut off this visual here. We don't want to mess with the size. Just leave the size alone. Get rid of the normal view. We don't care about that right now. Okay, so we have this geo. How much geo are we working with here? Okay, so it's a good low poly. Alright. Just zoom out a little bit. Get some views on this guy. So there's a fun little node called bend that I am not super great with. But let's turn it on and see what we can get. Okay. Yeah, tears it. Just tears it up. I don't think it knows. It doesn't know like what axis to work with. So like right now the y-axis up, and then it's bending on that axis, and this is like truly terrible. So it has a capture regions that we can try to set up. There is deform in both directions. I've found sometimes stabilizes it a little bit more. But yeah, I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, so what I'll do is there might be a script way to do this. I mean, there probably is. You can do like set capture region and just click on a range, and then now it has like some idea, and so we can just like mirror like mess it up. So it's not going to be I don't know how to put it, like to programmatically get these origins and directions. I could do it would take me a while though. I would need to find a reasonable point to select on a normal facing direction, and then do it again for like the top, because you could go like this and see the points, and I would want to find a point that's up here somewhere and then deform along a line. So anyhow, that's kind of what I could do programmatically to get these set up, and then also load in these files like programmatically as well. I'm pretty sure I can, yeah, read files. Let's try. So let's try to at least just get more than one files. See what it says. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to convert this to a number, like the file names. So let me go here and deform me. So all these guys, the names might matter maybe, but we're going to just not care about them. That'll get us pretty far to not to do that. So the guitar, let me remember what number it is. So it's this. I have a program called Better File Rename, which is super helpful. Okay, so let's actually I just leave that art or object. Let's see, yeah, I'll just say mesh. Trying super generic. So now we lose the information as to like what it is, but then it gives me the opportunity to well, it'll break this, so we're going to change this to oh great, I can show the sequences. So we can do this. This is interesting. Huh. let's try that. I haven't done this before. Let's give that a go. So what was it doing? It treated them as one mesh. Show sequence as one entry. So what if you pull in a sequence? What does that do? Mesh F. Oh, okay. So then I have frame. Yeah, so I can pull the frame number, theoretically speaking. Let's go over here. So you're gonna freak out because mesh F. Yeah, that's not even right. It's like mesh dash F, isn't it? Alright, so you're not loading. Let's switch you. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so let's try that again. So if we break it out, mesh $f.fx. I think the frame is just gonna have number one, so like I can try. Let me just see if it's, yeah, I was afraid of that. Okay, so it looks like Houdini's little fancy F thing, it doesn't like padding. So in another world, when I do this, the other program that I'm doing this for, like from another game, it really cares about the number of characters. So let's just do zero padding, and we'll let it do it like that. Okay, so performing names, and then we can take advantage of the Nito, I guess like that, right? Dasha. So we should be able to just like change this. Oh yeah, check that out. Boom. Okay, so here's the first obstacle to encounter. This bend node. It has the wrong parameters. Like it's set up for the guitar, right? So when it does a bend and we see this super tiny thing here, well, this can't be warped. So we could just ignore it and let it be the way it is. And same thing for this tire. It's super short. It is warping it, but here, let's actually look at that. So the original mesh will have this little faded look here. So it gives it some kind of warp, but you know, we have to sort of do a little manual touch to get it to warp in a useful way that makes sense for the object. So these are also disparate that, you know, the different sizes don't necessarily correlate to each other, and so we can kind of like, I don't know, try and average it out. Maybe that's fine. The orientations aren't always the same, you know. It's truly a hodgepodge of things. I don't even know what that is, but yeah, just let that go. So I can just export this, like, it's is bad. Okay, it's starting to break down. I think 73 is the cap here. So there's a wheelchair. Oh, it just janks up. Okay, yeah, you know, we're just gonna do it based on the guitar and just leave it. You know, that's one. The other thing that could be done is you can kind of parameterize this and then set up a top network. So let me see if I can find it. It's yeah, top net, and then gosh, let me see if I can remember. I'm gonna need to crack open another file. Whoops. Crack open another file. Okay, all right, yeah, I just had to go look it up real quick. Let me see, because it's been a while since I've used this. Just delete this and go to back to objects. I think you can do a top network. Yeah, I like doing it this way. So we have warp stuff. I'm just gonna put a top network here, and then you saw that. So there's this thing called a wedge, and we can use it to specify a parameter. So we can do a wedge attribute, and let's put some stuff in here. Let's make this fancier. So we could say, I guess the frame number, right? $sign frame. We're not animating. Let me do a wedge on the frame first. So let's say frame wedge count 1, random seach or whatever, wedge attribute name. So we can say range. I think it ends at 73. That's the number of objects that we have. And I think it's 0 base, is it? No, it's 0 base. Random sample. Range, I think it should run through each one, so it shouldn't skip anything. X out of that. Okay, I didn't know what I was doing. The attribute name, I'm not sure if I can do this. I don't know if I can do that. Let me try that. Should be an integer. Range 73. Okay, so we should do that. And then we're going to do a ROP fetch, which is going to fetch the geometry. So, but we have to create that first. So like right now we have a bend, and then we can do a ROP epx output, right? So we can do this, and we can do mesh bent or something. I guess the name is probably bent mesh. Yeah, okay, sure, why not? Do $OS, which is the name of this node. And then we'll put in $F, which hopefully will give it the unique name of the frame. And so, as it changes, then it'll change the name. And so it's gonna write it to hip, which that's gonna make a huge mess. So yeah, let's put it in a subfolder. Create intermediate directories, and we'll say deformed. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. Deformed, and just throw it in there. Mesh bent. Maybe just bent. I think short. Not abbreviated, just short. Okay, so there's that. So if we do save to disk, so first off, this is export to ASCII. Hopefully this is fine. I'm gonna turn it off. Make it smaller, like slightly smaller. I don't know. Maybe this doesn't matter. Why right-handed? Let me go look at those glasses. No, let's look at the room. Whatever I'm doing here, let me just kind of copy this node, because what is this guy doing? I remember I messed with this before, and maybe there's settings that matter for... I'm just going to take a look real quick. Unit conversions, none of that. My compatible, export ASCII, so I left that on. It seems like it's pretty much the same. I just left export ASCII on. I don't see anything that's particularly condemning if we didn't include it. Okay, so it looks fine. All right, there's that. So I already had saved a disk, and so it should have deformed, and here's our bent 1 FBX. So there we are. So to automate this, the first step, we're going to run this topnet here, frame, ROP fetch, and I think probably find the path. This works nicely whenever it's a small project. This actually loads bent. All right, so it'll call this. Yeah, so let's just run this and see what the heck happens. I like to put these in little network boxes. I don't know if we need that. This is like a configuration for how much CPU it can use and all that. So let's how do I run this again? It's like play or some 0 running, cook the output nodes work items. Cook the selected nodes work items. Okay, so I think it's this. See how that goes. Topnet. I don't know if it's working or not. Probably not. Looks like it didn't do squat. All right. There's one more. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there's an output node. Move this down here. This is like how much CPU power and all that junk we can get. So we can do that. Also, we want to generate when all upstream items are generated. Each upstream items. Yeah, we'll just say that. Which, I mean, those are like super fast, so it shouldn't really be a thing. And those little green dots will indicate how many are getting made, and there's that. We'll schedule, or sure, use 1/4 of my CPU, go. Let me save this. Cook output nodes. No, you're not doing it, you're just doing 1. Wedge attributes 1, attribute name F. And then, don't embarrass me. Where are my friends? Yeah, I'm confused. This is like only making one thing. Value list. What is this? Okay, that's not what I want. I truly want a range. Start, end. But yeah, you're not running through the range. Wedge count. No, I don't get it. What do you mean 0? Man, I swear I've like once upon a time understood this and now I'm having a hard time. Okay. It's only doing one. It's missing it. Continue. I'll just do it one more time because I feel insane. Okay, I think I figured it out. I tried to pause this because it's just me bumbling around a lot. So 73 here. I think it's this. I think that's it. So look, the wedge count, I think by wedge they basically mean these little bitty dots. So let me save, run this guy. Yeah, that was it. So this is like each little model here, and so you can kind of see it tracing through. It's really neat, and it runs through. So it was a really simple operation, so it probably ran really fast. Hopefully didn't make a bunch of corrupt things. Right, so the other thing that could have happened too is I don't actually know if I can write to the F like little variable, like frame variable like that. So I'm gonna actually change the, how do I get out of here? What happened to my, oh, there, it got really big. Put it next to him. So we're gonna call this automate warp stuff. So we just get this sort of general concept here, and then instead of doing this $F, let's create an attribute on the upper level, and then mess with it. So our parameters, so we got this guy, and I think actually, I'm trying to remember where it's at. Parameters and channels. No, I just did that. Edit parameters interface. Okay, so here's this, and so we have this root thing. We can create like a new one. See, there's a misc, but I'm gonna make a new one and call it warpable. It's warp tour. You can just name it whatever. Okay, so then there's that, and then we can throw in some. Let's throw in an integer in here, and we're gonna call this just say mesh ID. I'm trying to think of. I think name is actually important. And then the label is, yeah, that's the visible thing. Okay, so cool. We'll just do that. Let's accept. And so now you have folder name, which is super ugly, and a warp tour. Oh, whoops, looks like I named it wrong. Parameters and channels. Edit parameter interface. Yeah, accidentally renamed you, and you're the transform, I think. I think that's what they call it in here. You're the warp tour. There we go. Warp stuff. So here's warp tour, and of course you don't show because I added you to the wrong deal. You're in here. Let's drag you out into this folder. I drag you up here. That's what I want. I want you to be first. Okay, here we go. So it's first. So now we have this mesh ID. So what we'll do, I did not want to do that. What we'll do is come here, and instead of this attribute here, we will target a parameter. And so we can find it right here. And warp tour. Okay, there we go. Mesh ID. It's giving me trouble. I don't know why it's giving me trouble there. Yeah, this is weird. Target parameter. I can just type it in. I don't know why it's being finicky like that, but maybe it's because of the space in there. I don't know. That can cause problems. Let me just mess with it again. Being too crazy with my names. I'll just call it config. That's fun, but probably will work. Name. Okay. Let's go back in here. Let's grab this dude, and you should probably. I'm curious if it's just that finicky. I should be grateful it didn't crash. Sometimes it doesn't handle that. Yeah. So config. Mesh ID doesn't really. Let's just go for that and see if it. Mesh ID. Okay. I think this is actually just going to be mesh ID. Yeah, it should just be like that. Okay, so if we do this, and then let's go save and continue. All right, now it's taking a second. That sounds right. It shouldn't be super duper fast. Like, it's quick, but it's using like a quarter of my CPU, and then, there's 70 of them. So for it to happen instantly, like, my computer's not that boss. All right, so it doesn't seem to be saving. Okay, actually it is. It's saving the same one over and over again. So let me stop this. Cool. So there's that. Because it's still working off a frame. So what we need is the channel. So let's see if I can remember. I think the syntax is like these. Oh no, don't freeze on me. Just did. Okay. CH. So we're going to look at a channel, and we're going to go up one level, and we should just be able to do mesh ID. If I'm not mistaken, this should work. So mesh ID, this will load something, and so now this frame doesn't do anything, right? So we lost that little UI thing, but now we have this. And so we should be able to move this around. And so this UI here, like it caps at 10, but that's just a visual thing. You can still mess with this. So all of that still works. So we can do this if we want. And so now the automation can catch it. That's the thing. That's nice. If we go here, we can fix the little range, like size one. I don't 16. I'm trying to think of where this. Oh yeah, there it is, range. So I could do like 73 and support our known range there. And so then you get a much better experience in this UI if you still wanted to use it. Okay, so 0, I don't even know if 0 is legit. Like, is that even legit? Oh, it's a bullet. Okay, sure. All right. Just going to cut it out of the range. Okay, so now we should get our automated bins. And so go here and let's do, can I like restart you? Yeah, just like quit. I want you to start over. I'll just do it all, save and continue. You working, bud? Can also bump this up, just kind of. Okay, maybe I don't want to mess it out yet. But I do want you to run, like now. Actions, maybe it's here. Save, cook node. 0 running, 0 waiting. 3 of 3 nodes cooked. Cook them again. Okay, I'm confused as to how to get this to retrigger. Cook output node. You just think you're done, bro? Like, telling you you're not. Try again. Dirty and cook this node. There it is. Okay, I ain't forgotten how to do it. So now it should roll through. Okay, it looks like it's not cooking. It says 0 running. I'm just like breaking this over and over again. Oh, another problem still, because I'm just like kind of looking through this. We also need to make sure that we're saving it with the name. so that it, this is weird. I don't remember seeing this in the UI before. Huh. I don't remember seeing that. That must be new because it's been a while since I've used this in an updated version. So let's dirty and cook this node. Okay, yeah, that looks right. Yeah, I guess I'm forgetting to change the file name. It just didn't show or something. I feel like I still should have did this. Looks like it's doing a couple at a time. So it's rolling through and it's working. So like we can do other things. I don't know if we like change if it's gonna work on like a saved version of this. That would be my guess. But anyways, I'm like too scared to mess with it while it's running. So Houdini can crash. It's not a big deal if it does, but you know, it's just don't like my programs to crash. All right, so now we have this. So this gives us a bend variant and bends all 73 of them at once, saves a ton of time. It's going to do a pretty shoddy job of that, so it should be good trash art. Thematically appropriate. So let's just take a look around. I'm not going to edit the nodes, but I'm just going to look around. So I'm trying to think of another way to parameterize this. Okay, so here's the next thing we can try and parameterize. It is, so this, I guess, origin and then direction and length. So maybe what we do is we modify the length and try and capture roughly the height of the object. So we can try to sort of dynamically grab this height somehow. So maybe if we find the highest point, just trying to think of the kind of logic here, the highest point and grab its y, and then that would be the capture length. Like maybe that's reasonable. So let's do that. Let's try and find the highest point. I don't know if there's already something that exists. Height field. I know I can do it with the wrangle node. It's just going to take a second. Is it still running? Oh, let's just get a wrangle node going. Let's wrangle over point. And before we bend it, let's find the highest point. So set detail attrib. So detail attrib is going to be over here. And so we're going to set something, we're going to say highest y. And we just try and, yeah, I probably got the parameters wrong. Set detail attribute. So like the 0th geometry. Yeah, there we go. So this highest y. So we can initialize it as 0. I'm trying to remember if this language has to be a float like that. Okay, so we got that initialized, and then what we want to do is, and I probably don't even need to initialize this, honestly, I could, but I wanted to make sure that was the right command. So let me do, what's the variables in this? Is it going to be float, highest y? Jeez, just going to say highest. So we'll do 0 to 0. I think I need to do semicolons in this language. There we go. And so we're going to say that if we need to get the detail attribute, if highest is greater than, this language probably doesn't do like get detail, oh man. It's a get detail attribute. Ugh, but I don't see it. I might have to Google this, make sure it can. I think it's just like the same contract, highest y. Right. Yeah. I also think we have to like cast this. Call to undefined function. Set detail attribute? No, I didn't. Maybe it's just, oh, I think it's just detail. Yeah. Yeah. Which, how do we get it to, at some point we have to kind of cast it as a type. So let's just set this to like 1 and see it run. No matching function, detail attribute. Okay, you're complaining. All right, let's try this again. Detail attrib. Give me the interface. So we need to give it a geometry, which is 0, attribute name. Yeah, that's it. Which is what I've done. Detail attribute. Guess we can try that 0 param per ignore. I think it also doesn't do too well. If we do it inside a comparison like this, it doesn't know what type it is. So we can try so it'll try and cast it as a, so then we can say if highest is greater than previous, then set it. It's still griping. Yeah, I thought maybe it's just detail. I'm gonna have to like look this up again. All right, hold on. Yeah, so in my other code I just used detail. So using uninitialized variable previous. Okay, so that stopped. Okay, wow. I mean, I didn't change a thing, and now it just works. Okay, cool. I think sometimes with these you have to like disable and re-enable them, or like click off the node and come back so it stops freaking out. All right, so there's that. So now instead of just like hard coding highest, let's actually find that. Let's do current. We don't actually know it's highest, so let's say if it's current. And this guy can be named. This guy could be named highest. And we'll set that attribute to the highest. So current is going to be, should just be p.y, I think. I'm trying to remember if I need to do like this or something. I totally forgot. I might need to do $sign. We'll find out. Yeah, probably doesn't like that. I think it's, is it at p? It might be right. Okay. So it should roll over every single point, and then when it finds one, that's, see, I think it's not a, it might not be P though. Like, see this PX here, it could be P. I swear that that's supported, but you know, details still set at 0 there. That can't be right. Kind of click off of it, click back on. Disable, re-enable. Trying. So that should blow up. It's like you're not. Yeah, implicit customer vector to float. Yeah. That's what I was expecting. Okay. Yeah. So that's the right. It's detecting it's a vector, so it's just tripping out until you. Shoop. You try. No, it's going to be like that, huh? Okay, so let's take a look at one of these points, which I think we can like specifically click one and just kind of look at it. Change this to points, and let's just grab one. All right, so there's you. Now, how do I find you on this? There's a way to see it. Oh yeah, numbers. What is that? 441. Okay, so let's look at the 441. All right, so I'd expect the number to be 29 then. So P Y should be 29. In this case, so if we like try and copy what the UI shows there, that's not going to work. It's not like, but p.y is valid, but it's still not. It's not finding it, and I truly don't know why. I don't understand. I'm thinking it's done, so yeah. So I just started editing it. All right, so this point wrangle, we're going to call you. I'm going to figure out why it's not working, but find highest point. And then let's do a bend, and we're going to alter this parameter based on this highest point once we get it to update, that is. So why aren't you updating? Vertices? Oh, I know it's points. That's supposed to be points, but crap. Okay, I don't know why I can't get the current point. I just need to Google it. Yeah, so I'm looking at this, and that seems to be right. So it blows my mind. So they're using. I can try this, but I don't know. Like, see like this right here, P. Y. So he's using it for an assignment to make those like little waves, right? Like popping up out of this. I'm just trying to read it, and it's like it's not reading. So yeah, I don't know what the heck, man. Joy of X, super useful. So yeah, don't know why this is being such a punk. I can try like 0, like your vector, so you have three guys there. It could just be that because this isn't an int, this isn't a float, that it's just never getting there. So like if let me comment this out. Oh, or maybe it's because my logic is just broken because I never changed it to current. I wonder if that's, oh gosh, I guess that was it. Oops, okay. It did work. I just didn't change this line. I was expecting it to change. Okay, so it's actually 13 somehow, which is not what I would anticipate. I don't know where you got 13 from, man. Like, hey, maybe this position isn't what I think it is. 13. I would also like to know what point number you are. So let me see, set detail attribute. We're going to set it on this geometry, and then we're going to say um, I think it's PT num. So it's at PT num, if I'm not mistaken. And it wants semicolon. Okay, so it should be able to see. So it's saying the highest point is A15. A15 should be able to click it, and I think it'll highlight in here. I mean, you think it'd be right there on top, eh? A15, where are you? I don't even see A15. Right? Is this the right thing? Points, yeah. Where'd you go? Weird. 400 appears to be on the top. There is a way to like highlight it or go to point or something, but it's some kind of weird relative thing. I mean, even then, there's numbers that are higher. So it sort of blows my mind, like how are you resolving this number when it should be something like 30 or like I'm just doing a simple comparison check that doesn't really seem. I should get rid of this because I don't want to see it anymore. Okay, so this is truly confusing. I don't know. We'll see how that goes, right? I'm just gonna work with it for now. So then we should be able to do a channel. Oh, no, you're not a channel. I don't think you're gonna be. Is it detail? Yeah, I think it's detail and then string float. So it's a little bit different on this one. It is, so we should be able to do this object, and then we want to say highest y. And so that should give us some approximate, it's whacked out. Unable to evaluate bad data type. So sometimes it's like this. I have to figure out how this works, like up one level. Oh, also it lost the detail, so I need to go up one level here. So if I go find highest point, so I have to go up and then find, yeah, it like loses this value. And you're going to be, I guess I have to figure out how to cast you to an int, because if it's a float or, I mean, if it's a string, I have to cast it to a float, potentially. So it says 0. It's evaluating to 0 currently. Yeah, bad data type. I don't know how to float cast. Sorry, I've done this before, but to float. Let's see. Oh wait, there's this expression. Hold on, I think we do this. I think this can be that. It's like vex potentially. No, other languages aren't helping. Yeah, it's just not gonna resolve. Okay. Man, I know this is close. I've done this with like for loop. Okay, I think I'm just missing. I think I'm just missing one parameter. Okay, so I think it's just like this. There we go. And we got our band. So that last thing right there always gets me. Like, you have to include this for some reason. I don't even know what it's supposed to do, but it's always 0. Like, I never use. So anyways, this should now theoretically like dynamically work for most objects. Although the Y detection seems to be rather screwy. So that's, yeah, oh my gosh, it's so the strength, might need to be modified too to like kind of make geometry that's not just like getting ripped. But at least it's hitting it now, Look at 73. That one is, it's like turned it sideways. Gosh. Oh man. Yeah, this is producing pretty messed up results, which is kind of what you'd hope for. We could randomize the so like before the trophy, this would have gotten completely missed because the guitar was too tall, but this algorithm picks it up. But some things just get wrecked, like that gets wrecked. All right. Yeah, the Y position, it's confusing to me, like how it's not accurately portraying. What is this supposed to be? Like a shovel or something? Piece of bread. Skateboard just gets wrecked. Man. Yeah, see, like, because it's not facing the same direction. Like, its length. Yeah, okay. So I guess this is the trash art we've been looking for. Hopefully, I guess we don't really care if it doesn't load in right. As long as it doesn't crash the program, I suppose. So people can experience it. Razor blade snakehead. Okay. Picnic table. Alright. Yeah. Wheelbarrow. Microphone. Hammer. Alright, I think we have some warp stuff. Alright, so these things here capture origin, I suspect can be almost universal. Like, I think right now the capture origin, it's set to this guitar, right? So it's kind of going to be floating out here. So if we look at it, I don't know, how do I see this? I don't know how to see it, but it's like right here somewhere. Let me see if it, yeah, there. It's like right there. So that's the point. It's just floating right there. So some of the geometry, it's going to be inside of some of the geometry, and others it'll be like way outside of it. So it's just going to not be the most accurate thing, but it does get us a little bit closer. So now what I'll do is I'll re-export this, and I'll just call that done for now. And so we can mix this warp stuff up with our regular objects, and then just have more variations in our trash art.